world's largest road race for women powers through Idaho. A backcountry mail run delivers high-flying adventure, and an Idaho wildflower expert shares her seeds of knowledge.
2, 1.
Nearly 150 racers from around the world take off on the Tour de France of women's cycling. The International Women's Challenge is the largest all-female road racing series in the world, and it runs right through the heart of Idaho. Hello and welcome to Exploring Idaho. I'm Roland Barris.
And I'm Dee Sarton. 5 days of grueling climbs and high-speed descents attract female cyclists from around the world to our state.
Every June, the International Women's Challenge dangles a $100,000 prize in front of these talented cyclists, and it brings out some of the most incredible performances of their lives. 1 week every June, the world comes to Idaho.
The riders themselves are from all over the world. We have New Zealand, Australia, Lithuania, Germany, Italy. 14 countries.
For 5 days, the best of the best in women's cycling compete in a race that challenges their very souls.
My name is Ina, and I'm stuffed already.
This is, without a doubt, the premier women's race in the world. This is the best aggregation of great athletes, Olympians, world champions, national champions that have ever come together in women's cycling.
A series of 5 stages or races lead competitors over nearly 300 miles of the most scenic, historic, and grueling roadways in Idaho.
People always come up to me and say, gosh, now I see why you live here.
Racer Brooke Blackwelder is a home state girl, a cyclist from Driggs, Idaho. She will race against top female athletes like Australian Olympic gold medalist Kathy Watt.
This is definitely the biggest stage race in America, and it's grown bigger every year.
After a day of time trials, the big day arrives. All the warming up, rubbing down, and pre-race preparations will hopefully pay off.
3, 2, 1.
The start, near Boise, leads racers through the level valley and then pushes up a long, slow, steep grade on Highway 21.
We're just cheering them on, make them go faster.
The riders cover nearly 50 miles, and in a mad sprint to the finish, end in the historic mining town of Idaho City. After just an evening of rest, riders start again near Lowman. Today, the pack pushes east into the mountains for nearly 80 miles, past the scenic Sawtooths, and end on a grueling final stretch up the 8,000-foot Galena summit.
Our current race leader of the 1998 Hewlett-Packard International Women's Challenge, to the top of Galena, it is Linda Jackson!
So far, Linda Jackson of Canada leads the event, but she and the rest of the riders are only halfway there.
A stage race does incredible things for your fitness level. Just climbing back on the bike day after day after, pushing your body as hard as you can one day, and then you get up and do it all over again the next day.
There are 3 days of racing left. A 62-mile route extends from Stanley into the famous ski town of Ketchum. Then in Boise, a criterium race circles the state capital for a total of 35 miles. And finally, the last race begins in the small farming town of Emmett and finishes in the historic district of downtown Boise known as Hyde Park.
The world's greatest bicycle race in the world.
In 5 days of racing, these women have pedaled and pushed 275 sweaty, painful miles through Idaho. First place goes to Linda Jackson of Canada, and Idaho's Brooke Blackwelder, well, she does not finish in the top 3. But Brooke and the rest of her cycling companions have won hundreds of new fans along the way.
There you go. Thanks for coming out, you guys. You did a good job. Thanks.
Some really amazing performances from those women.
It is so exciting to see female athletes of that caliber competing right here in Idaho.
And it's really interesting, Dee. The International Women's Challenge is twice as large as any other women's cycling event in the United States, 3 to 4 times as large as any in Europe. So it's quite a feather in Idaho's cap to have this event every June.
I guess so. Something to take in every year. Roland, thank you very much. You have probably noticed our beautiful surroundings today. We're taping at the Idaho Botanical Gardens in Boise. It's in full bloom, and this season there's a little more color than normal because of a brand new garden. Judy Outerkirk is here to explain to us the English garden.
Well, thank you for coming today, Dee, and it is my pleasure to tell you about the English garden.
Oh, I can see why. It's exciting and it's brand new.
It is brand new, and if you'll notice, we have a lot of color out here, as you mentioned. But give this garden 3 to 5 years, and the color and the flowers, it's going to be just beautiful.
It's built around some very interesting structures. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Yes, I would love to. If you'll notice, in the far end of the garden is our little summer house. That's all out of quarried stone from Table Rock. The inside is from the old J.C. Penney building, the
My
ceiling.
goodness.
And that slate roof is from the old Veterans Hospital. So it has kind of an Idaho flavor. Along with that is this structure at this end of the garden where we have a pergola. And pergolas are very popular in England. And these big beams are all from Douglas fir, which of course we have right here in our state. And all of these columns are also quarried stone. And I want you to know, at the entrance, we have 30 new dawn roses planted around each of these columns, along with wisteria, so that within another 3 to 5 years, we'll have colorful growth clear over our pergola.
It will be stunning.
It will be stunning.
That will be beautiful. Now, some of the flower beds have just been planted, and they're already beautiful. What will happen here?
Well, first I need to tell you, we have over 1,300 perennials planted in this garden. And you can see that these are planted fairly close together, so that in time, and within 3 to 5 years, and they mature, they will grow together, and you probably won't even see the ground. And the reason that the English do this is because they don't have a great deal of ground. Most of their yards and their gardens are very small, so they plant as close together as they can.
Well, Judy, because of your explanation, we're going to have even more fun watching this garden grow. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, and Dee, thank you for coming today. It's been a pleasure.
Well, it's our pleasure. And coming up next, you're going to want to meet the wildflower lady. Still ahead, an 86-year-old woman leads a crusade to brighten up your next vacation through Idaho. And a backcountry necessity becomes a traveler's adventure. Exploring Idaho will be right back. Mountain flying in Idaho has a long, sometimes bumpy history. In the 1920s, backcountry landing strips were no more than somewhat level meadows. Daring pilots flew open cockpit biplanes through high mountain peaks, the sound of their engines sparking activity in the remote mining camps they supplied. Welcome back to Exploring Idaho. You know, there are still places today in our state that are supplied only by plane.
Remote mountain lodges remain nestled deep in the river of no return wilderness, right in the center of Idaho.
And today, Jennifer Eisenhart takes us for a ride on the backcountry mail plane, a route that delivers letters, supplies, and adventure in the heart of Idaho.
How do you get a letter when the only street in front of your house is a boiling river? Your only neighbors are deer and elk, and you are surrounded by the largest roadless area in the lower 48 states. You look to these guys, Arnold Aviation near Cascade. The Idaho Flying Service has carried the backcountry mail contract for nearly 25 years. Once a week, every week, pilots deliver every kind of package you can imagine.
90 pounds. Pretty everything, I mean, supply-wise. Don't smash the bananas. And you can end up with anything from the kitchen sink, in other words, to lumber, to fuel, propane, you know, whatever it is they need. Except they can't drive to the store and get it. They have to call and have us deliver it.
Today, food, letters, and supplies are loaded onto the Cessna 206. The 6-passenger single-propeller plane is a favorite among mountain pilots for its power and maneuverability. And in recent years, the mail plane has become popular for hauling another kind of cargo.
So usually we can take 4 people along.
Sightseers, along for an aerial view of Idaho's largest wilderness.
Someone sent me an article like 5 or 6 years ago from an aviation magazine about this trip that Ray Arnold was doing, and I stuck it away in the file and just thought someday I'm going to do that.
There.
Someday has arrived for Jackie and Bruce Zimmerman.
Cascade traffic, 328 Charlie will be departing runway 30. Right turnout going this way.
The couple from Boise will tag along and help pilot Ray Cross deliver the mail to several remote lodges.
There are a lot of people can't get into the wilderness area for one reason or another. They can't take the time to float the river for a week, or they can't. They don't have an airplane, and so this gives them a chance to go and see it, and really see it from the air, where you can't see it from the ground.
The plane covers 100 miles an hour and is quickly surrounded by rocky mountain peaks that jaggedly drop into lush green valleys.
Everything's in bloom right now. This has been a remarkable water year again, and I think that the greenery has been really struck me. But just the contrast in colors, it was just truly amazing.
Mountain flying is challenging, even for the best pilots. But after years of experience, Ray Cross knows well how to negotiate the narrow valleys and short landings. Here at Sulphur Creek, a tight turn is required before the approach to a bumpy gravel airstrip. It's a hair-raising reunion with the ground.
Feel like you're a million miles away from civilization and Boise.
A sleepy series of log cabins make up Sulphur Creek Ranch. The sound of the plane landing means breakfast is already cooking. And at this restaurant, you'd better like the special.
Yeah, if they order breakfast, they get a plate for breakfast. Whatever I'm cooking that day. You get what you get served. Usually it is omelets, biscuits and gravy.
Although the choices are limited, there is no shortage on quantity. And while we settle into the trough...
There you go.
Thanks.
You betcha.
Ray delivers the mail.
Most important day of the week.
Yeah, lettuce and ham.
By the way, the same 32-cent stamp that delivers regular mail brings letters into Idaho's backcountry.
Everything that America is, Idaho has in terms of the landscape, the raging rivers, the gentle streams, the mountain lakes, the pristine forests. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, those ridges don't look very far down.
Inside these small canyons, it seems as though we could reach out and touch the snowy peaks. Below us, the middle fork of the Salmon River twists and turns inside its rocky boundaries. The Middle Fork is a popular river for rafters. Thrilling whitewater and quiet seclusion make it a world-class destination.
Anybody home?
A popular starting point for many rafters is here at Indian Creek. So during the summer, the Forest Service staffs a guard station.
How you doing? It's the first time I think I've seen you this year. Yeah.
And even in the remote corners of wilderness,
This is junk mail.
junk mail finds a target.
That goes right there.
It certainly shows you another lifestyle that, certainly is appealing. Just being out in this country and living a simpler life than we're living in the city is something that really is appealing. I mean, this is just beautiful.
I've lived in and out of Idaho most of my life, and I've never seen some of the country that I've seen today.
Count it as another successful delivery on the wildest route in the West.
I think it's a real testament to our mail system that it would include services like this in Idaho's backcountry.
The backcountry mail plane carries passengers only during the summer months, and you have to be quick to get on board. Ray says he opens bookings at about 9 a.m. on April 1st, and he's entirely booked up by noon.
Wow, that really is fast. So I guess you want to set your speed dial on your phone, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Good idea. And if you're lucky enough to get on board, about how long does that trip take?
Well, with stops for breakfast and time to just look around and enjoy the scenery, it's about a 2-hour or 2.5-hour trip, but definitely worth the time to see that country.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Thanks, Jen.
Exploring Idaho. We'll be right back. Coming up next, this 86-year-old throws her enthusiasm behind a program to preserve wildflowers in Idaho.
Never knew I played golf once upon a time.
Exploring Idaho continues in a moment.
This is penstemon, and this is how it looks.
Do you know the difference between penstemon and wild parsnip? Or would you recognize a Philadelphus lewisii if you saw one? The woman you are about to meet could identify those flowers and many more with her eyes closed. She would probably then go on to list all their attributes and benefits. Her name is Lillian Pethtel, and at 86, she has spent a lifetime working with wildflowers. And from her hometown of Kamei, Lillian shares her love for Idaho's native blooms with everyone who passes through.
My mother said she found me under a cabbage. I've always been interested in plants, just always.
Lillian Pethtel was born to garden. As a child, she grew weeds in old soup cans full of dirt. As an adult, she served the country as a national expert on native plants. Today, from her hometown of Kamei, she works to spread the seeds of all her knowledge.
The definition of beauty is the absence of ugliness. And if you have beauty, why, of course you're going to be more cheerful. If it's pleasing to the eye, you're going to feel better about it.
If the plant kingdom ever named a cheerleader, Lillian Pethtel would have the position all wrapped up. Although given the choice, she'd rather just dig in the dirt.
Nantucket, I think, is what it's called, or the wood rose. Now this sedum right here, this one, it will have a yellow bloom when it blooms, and it was used for soap. And this is oxalis, this sorrel right here. This is another wildflower, one that's cataloged by Meriwether, Lewis, and Clark right here. The one way that we can tell if a plant is native or not is to go to those journals, and if they were cataloged, why then we know that the plant was native here.
The importance of the survival of native plants is a subject on which Lillian Pethtel is outspoken. While hybridized garden flowers are pretty to look at, Lillian says native wildflowers like syringa, columbine, or Rocky Mountain penstemon hold much more than beauty. Within each leaf, petal, and stamen lies untampered genetic strength, the building blocks of the plant world.
The area that we will plant today was washed out in 1997.
Garden clubs and other groups have become the workforce behind Lillian's wildflower preservation campaign.
The flowers that we will plant, the Penstemon stricta, the Rocky Mountain penstemon, bird's tongue, no less, and Philadelphus lewisii, grew there naturally.
The benefactors are not only the flowers themselves, but another conspicuous species, Automobilius operatoris, otherwise known as drivers.
The wildflowers along the sideway of the road indicates that people and nature are in harmony with each other.
Last year, Lillian merged her campaign to preserve native plant species with the Highway Department's goal to beautify Idaho's roadways.
See, there's the arrowroot balsam up there. You can see the leaves.
The partnership, called Operation Wildflower, has improved the view along hundreds of miles of otherwise barren blacktop.
Note the terrain.
And today, it's the reason these ladies are warming up their pitching arms.
Now then, Betty?
Yes, how do we do?
Yes.
Do you want the cooler?
Yes, the cooler, and we'll plant this.
The seeds are frozen in ice, insurance for at least one early dose of water, and convenient for hucking them high on the road bank.
I'll demonstrate. Throw them just a little higher, Lillian. That's it.
Come on, Jean, get a little hump in there.
Whoa. Oh. There was a time when I did play ball. See my finger?
On top.
Woo! Good one.
Then I had two boys, and they kept me in practice.
That one stuck.
Yeah. Here, Betty.
That one stuck. Pauline is just really, really.
She's good at it.
Yes. Get that one.
Get that right.
Good pitching.
In time, these seeds will sprout, bloom, and spread across what is now just a dirt borrow pit. They'll add bursts of bright color, sharing their delicate beauty with everyone who passes through.
It gives us a spiritual lift as well as a aesthetic feel.
Makes people want to return too. You know, if you're traveling through and the scenery is a little prettier, you know, people will want to come back hopefully.
And it was noted that the traveling public drove just a wee bit slower if there was beauty alongside the road.
Beauty that is not accidental, yet totally natural, and brought to all of us by a dedicated lady who simply loves wildflowers.
Well, it's just like seeing a pretty person or a pretty animal. They have a beauty of their own.
Lillian Pethtel has organized Operation Wildflower plantings along Highway 55, Highway 95, and Highway 162, all beautiful drives through Idaho. And in 1997, Lillian was honored for her work with an Outstanding Volunteer Award from the Idaho Department of Transportation.
Well, I should hope so. She does such a terrific job. She donates all her time.
She does, and you probably heard me say she's 86 years old, so we asked Lillian if she's going to slow down anytime soon. She says no way. She will work with wildflowers as long as she's able.
Well, on the heels of the Wildflower Lady, today's Idaho Puzzler. Can you name the Idaho state flower? We'll have the answer when Exploring Idaho returns. If you'd like more information on any of the stories you've seen in our show today, call for a copy of the Exploring Idaho Field Notes. Be sure to request show number 159. Did you know the answer to our Idaho Puzzler? The Idaho state flower is the syringa. The white blossoms of Philadelphus lewisi were discovered and collected by Captain Meriwether Lewis in 1806. Syringa was named the Idaho state flower in 1931. Well, what an absolutely beautiful day we've had to explore the Idaho Botanical Gardens.
It's so pretty here, so we're going to leave you with some of the colorful blooms from the gardens, and thanks for watching Exploring Idaho.
We'll see you next time.